Recently, I read an SLA proposal which contained a statement that said the following. This solution is designed with a requested recovery point objective of 1 hour in mind. Data will be replicated based upon an hourly schedule. Before we take a closer look at this sentence and why it may be regarded to be false, let's quickly discuss the generic but very important terms of recovery point objective and recovery time objective, or RPO and RTO. This does not only apply to ONTAP, but to more, if not all, storage solutions. In short, recovery point objective states the amount of data that is allowed to be lost when a disaster occurs based upon time. The recovery time objective states the actual time that passes before business can be retaken, regardless of the amount of data that is lost. In plain English, if we are allowed to lose 1 hour of data, then our RPO is 1 hour. Are we allowed to not have access to our data for 1 hour, then our RTO is also 1 hour. So those are two very different concepts, but strongly related. The relationship is usually depicted with a time bar, on which the recovery point objective always points to a timestamp in the past, where the recovery time objective always points forward in time. In this example, the RPO is 30 minutes and the RTO is 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, the data is accessible again, but you may have lost 30 minutes of work, so to say. In ONTAP and other solutions, a recovery time objective of 0 is not possible, even though from a client perspective it may seem 0, when the routing of a data packet may take a bit longer, but in the end the client will not know that the service has had an outage. To the client there was just a bit of delay before it received an acknowledgement of some sort. From the storage perspective, we try to keep RTO to near 0. Let's say we try to fail over the service as fast as possible. So near 0, but not 0. RPO is a different beast. RPO can definitely be 0. In ONTAP there are a few solutions for that. First, there's Metro Cluster, where the data is synchronously mirrored between two different data centers, where if either of the two cluster partners fails, or even an entire data center, the data is 100% in sync, so 0 data loss. Another solution is SnapMirror Active Sync, formerly known as SnapMirror Business Continuity, where the data is also 100% in sync between two data centers, so 0 data loss. And finally, there is SnapMirror Sync, where the client will only be acknowledged when the data has arrived at the destination volume. So again, 0 data loss. Now going back to that sentence from the SLA that I read, there is a 0 RPO in the above solution, so obviously this SLA was meant for something else. And this would be an asynchronous replication, where data is replicated from a source to a destination after some time, maybe a minute, maybe an hour, or even a day. But time will have passed before the data is in sync on both sides. In ONTAP this is referred to as asynchronous SnapMirror, where the data on the source is snapshotted and the new blocks with regards to the previous snapshot will be updated. And only after all of the blocks have been transferred and the new snapshot is created on the destination, the update is regarded to be successful. And that is where the problem lies. It can best be explained with an example, I think. Imagine the update from the source to the destination takes place every hour, as mentioned in the SLA statement. And imagine the update in general takes between 30 and 50 minutes, depending on the amount of data that has to be transferred. Then indeed, if the source cluster fails halfway the transfer, or even a single second before the snapshotted blocks were all transferred, then this hourly update results in a full hour of data loss. However, during the transfer of the snapshot for, say, 49 minutes, new data has also been arriving at the source. Because the transfer of a snapshot does not mean that clients have to stop sending more data to the source. So when disaster strikes, you lose the complete snapshot, but also 49 minutes of newly written data to the volume, which results in a much larger data loss than just 1 hour. So to make a long story short, if you're unable to replicate all of the data within half the time of the requested RPO, you should maybe consider what we just discussed.